TPCSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all your sports books and track all your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You could also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as it's the best account on the platform. Head to App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire and download the app.
I might swerve in that corner, whoa, and go home, as it is in Detroit with Jello performing in Detroit, but the Lions ultimately losing to the Redskins in a giant upset. The NFC side and the AFC side of the NFL didn't disappoint at all. Live Zone, what's up? It's Mazzi and Live Zone rocking with you. What's going on, brother?
We got a lot going on, other than, the Commanders thing. I agree with you, because you said Redskins again. But nah,
God,
we got
I mean Commanders every time, bro. It's like,
you're good.
bro, it's solidified.
Yeah, you're good. But we got a lot going on today. We got a lot to talk about in the NFL. Some things went wrong. A lot went wrong this weekend if you watch the football games. But we're here to talk about it, and we're here to talk about the NFL playoffs. So let me know what you got for us.
Yeah, so we're starting off in Detroit because this was the biggest upset of the week, of the year, hands down. I don't know a lot of people outside of Washington Redskins diehard fans that had the Redskins beating these Detroit Lions and moving on to the NFC Championship the first time since the 90s. I don't know that there's much to say. What does this mean for these Detroit Lions moving forward, Live Zone? The defense was not there. They managed to go from week 14 with a bottom tier defense, the worst in the league, and still be able to win consistently and make it to this point. But what happened? What does Detroit go from here with these pieces and everything that's going on?
Well, the clear option I'm going to start off with is they need to keep the team together. I know that they're losing a lot of defensive coordinators and offensive coordinators and everything like that. And there's a lot of talks about them going elsewhere and going other places. They need to keep those guys around. This team needs to stick together because the window is closing for the Detroit Lions. We talk about the windows, it's usually 4 to 5 years. They're already 2 years deep in, and they don't have a Super Bowl when they were the best team both years. So I think that the window is getting shorter and shorter. Here's the thing that I'm looking at. Is Jared Goff really that number one guy that you look towards? 3 interceptions in the biggest game of the year is blasphemy. I understand that he got hit and that there was a concussion protocol look there, and Bridgewater came in for a little bit, but that is your ride or die quarterback. That is your franchise quarterback, and he threw 3 interceptions in the most important game of the season. There's no excuse for that. He has to be better on the field. And honestly, when it comes to the Detroit Lions, yes, the defense wasn't fully there, 110% agreed, but they were also, like we were saying, missing 11, 10 people on the defensive side. That's very beneficial to a defense that's one of the best defenses in the league, and missing their best defensive player as that. So for me, there's a lot of takes for the Detroit Lions loss. But honestly, I don't think that they're the team to worry about right now. I think that the window is closing and they need to get it together soon, and they need to win a ring soon before their window closes. But when it comes to all the playoff teams that lost this week, I think that they were the least of the worries.
Yeah, so I definitely agree with you on the Jared Goff side, and looking at the concussion side of it. He had thrown 2 interceptions and fumbled the ball already before that hit. He threw it on a pick 6 and got that concussion after throwing a pick 6. So truly he was playing terrible to start and just continued to play terribly. I believe the amount of people that were injured on this Lions defense played tremendously into this. I think the defense is what ultimately lost this game. If you watch this game at any point, there was literally no resistance whatsoever from the Detroit Lions defense against this Washington Commanders team whatsoever. Okay. Jalen Daniels was picking them apart methodically down the field, short, running game attack, 8 yard average, like getting down the field, no problem, scoring at ease. I think that was a huge contributor. No matter how bad Jared Goff played, they still put up over 30 points, but their defense just gave up 45. If their defense could have kept them in the game a little bit around 28, they still come out of this game on top, if not even better, because it's a closer game and you play it strategically different there towards the end. So for Detroit moving forward, I definitely think there's a tight window, like you said. This needs to be done next year. I believe it might even be next year or bust, blow it up. Um, is Dan Campbell's coaching style of the aggressiveness anywhere to blame on this or anything to look into on the Lions' success always going for it? Is it? I I don't know. I don't know. Could that play a role in this too as well? Is that not the kind of coach that you want moving forward anymore? You don't want that aggressiveness, or is that what the league's going to in the future? So you want more of that? I don't know what you do with this Lions team. I think they're a solid group. The offense should be able to do it. I- If you move Goff, you run the risk of another year or two before they're actually in sync, so that window then closes even more. Then you have to gamble on paying players you don't know yet. Um, there's a lot that can go wrong or right for this Lions team in this next year. And based on Detroit's history, I unfortunately see it go horribly wrong. But that's a whole other discussion for another time of day. We have the winners to talk about in this matchup. That's the Washington Commanders and their special talent rookie QB, Jaden Daniels. Okay, historic what he's doing. Um, is it the best rookie quarterback season we have ever seen in the NFL Live Zone? I'm gonna let you take it away from there.
I think if it's not the best, it's one of the best. Jaden Daniels is really proving why he is one of the top quarterbacks in the league. Really looking like a RG3 type player. If RG3 didn't really get hurt from the Washington Redskins at the time, now the Washington Commanders. I think that this is an amazing season. I think what we're seeing the Magic Johnson of the NFL right now. We're seeing the rookie come up and now he's got some power in the franchise and he's the main quarterback. He's the main reason why they're here. Now they need to just go out and win. They need to utilize the older players like Austin Eckler and Bobby Wagner and all them. So Washington's got to be on their game. I think seeing what we saw from Jaden Daniels though against this Detroit Lions team, I mean, this has to be one of the biggest playoff shocks that we have seen in recent memory. But Jaden Daniels, I have to give it to him hands down. I said at the beginning of the season that they were going to be good. I didn't expect them to be this good. I don't think anybody had them on the board for the NFC Championship. But we shall see what happens. Maybe the Commanders make it, maybe they don't. But it would be nice to see the Commanders really take out the whole NFL. It would be a fun sight. It would be fresh. It would be something that the NFL needs. Washington really needing that quarterback and needing that guy, and they finally found it. It's just a story that everybody wants to see come true.
You can go back in the tapes if you follow from way back pre-East Coast Sports Investors days. Said watch out for Jaden Daniels, okay, my LSU boy. Okay. I said watch out for him. I didn't think this was where he was going, but if he wins this matchup, which we're going to talk about later, and moves on to the Super Bowl, this is the greatest season ever by a quarterback in the history of the NFL, merely based on the fact that no other rookie quarterback has ever made it to the Super Bowl. That'll be the number one reason at the top why it is. But on top of it, you need to look at it for what it is in right now. It's right there, and damn near there's two people, like you said, agree with the RG3, but I also throw the Cam Newton up there. The only thing with the Cam Newton one is they went 2-14 that season. So if you're bringing the record into it, it really doesn't hold up. But he had more passing yards than him, but Jaden has the touchdowns and the less interceptions as well. So I mean, statistically, none of these people line up. The dude's 4-0 in the last one-score games that he's played, and they're 8-4 all year in one-score games. He's got blood in his veins. He's ice cold when it's time to lock in. He can throw the ball downfield and connect on those long passes. He has Scary Terry as the threat downfield as well as inside. He has the running game to the side with Robinson. So I mean, you know, I really thought this offense was one dimensional, and I thought a team like the Lions with so many weapons was going to outscore them. And somehow they stayed right up with this. They have Ertz there at the tight end as well, making great plays and huge plays when they needed to, coming up with big third downs as well. So the defense can at least hold people in the game. If it's a close game, the defense can keep you right with it for this team. And if it's a shootout, the defense can kind of keep them down a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So they're ready for whoever. They've proven that they can beat the Eagles already once this year in a crazy shootout. It's not impossible that they can pull this off. If I had to pick, of all the NFC opponents the Washington Commanders could have had in the NFC Championship, out of Minnesota, Green Bay, the Rams, Detroit, I would say the Eagles are probably the easiest matchup and best matchup for them to have. So it's realistic that they could pull that off, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. I think this is one of the best rookie quarterback seasons I've ever seen. So, yes, shout out Jaden Daniels, LSU guys, rocking it, bro.
Now, I do want to ask you a question because around like week 6, week 7 of this NFL season, we started seeing the rise of Jaden Daniels and we started seeing the rise of the Washington Commanders before Brian Robinson got hurt and everything like that. We were talking about how Jaden Daniels actually uses VR for his film and actually like goes through the film, goes through the options based off of the defenses and everything like that. And it's a new thing that the NFL quarterbacks are starting to use, Jaden Daniels being the real main quarterback that's using it. Do you think that this was beneficial to go against these Lions and everything like that and get this far in the playoffs?
Oh, I don't know. Whatever works for whoever it works for. I don't know. To each their own. I don't know if it's a technique to tell all the new up and coming players to start using that and doing it that way. I don't. It's whatever works for each person. I mean, if it makes you better seeing the defenses and whatnot, and seeing the formations on a virtual level rather than having your own team line up against you in those formations, I guess so. Maybe it's more repetitions, doing it on top of the practices at your house. You then have the practices right in front of your eyes as well. So it kind of engraves into your system even more, and it's more muscle memory than anything when you see the formations. I guess that could work. But again, it's all about the work. So I would say in this case, yes, it definitely helped because Jaden Daniels even says in his post-game interview with Tom Brady, like, I put in the work, I sacrificed the hours. It's going above and beyond. He'll do the practice and then on top of it, do the VR sessions. So, I mean, whatever works, bro.
Yeah, no, I was just looking at it like, hey, maybe this, did something for a rookie NFL quarterback, maybe helped him gain a little bit of confidence because he knew what was coming. based off of the VR set and everything like that, based off of watching, what they're doing in games and everything like that. It's pretty interesting thing for the NFL quarterbacks out there, that it's like a new thing, and honestly, it helps you out for your quarterbacks because your quarterbacks stay like ready because now they see it instead of like going through it in practice and everything like that. I don't know.
I
It
just
could it
don't
could
know
have.
if you can account for the true speed of the game when you're out there.
Well,
Um,
yeah.
that's the thing, and that's one of the things that I think is so detrimental to rookie players. They come from college and they think, the true greats can come from college and come and dominate, no problem. But then there's countless times you see a player dominate in college and they come to the league and they fizzle because they just didn't have that extra burst of speed or anything when it came to the NFL. They were just an average NFL player at the end of the day with the speed and everything of the game. So I just think that's also something that comes into effect that you can only see on the field. And Jaden Daniels has that extra of speed or like extra thing in the gas chamber or extra step. He just looks like he's gliding when he's passing people who are trying to tackle him. He doesn't seem like he gets pinched up in bad situations or is going to take a bad hit. It's just it's very crazy to see.
I mean, and plus even having 299 yards and 2 touchdowns on the best team in the NFL that everybody thought was going to go to the Super Bowl is extremely impressive as well. I,
I
I
thought he was going to have more
personally,
pass touchdowns, honestly. I thought he was going to have
well,
3 or 4.
I didn't think that he was going to have many because of his rushing and everything like that, and going against, what is supposed to be one of the best defenses in the league and everything. I
Not
didn't
since
see
week
Jaden.
14. This was one of the best
Uh,
defenses in the league, dude. This
yeah,
was bad.
but best team in the league. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you expected the Lions to put up a little bit more of a fight than what they're fighting. So I don't know, 299 and 2 touchdowns. That's pretty impressive to go against the best team in the NFL.
Yeah. It's definitely props. It's definitely props. You know who else we give props to? Atlanta Steak and Seafood for their products and their taste. Let's get a word from Atlanta Steaks and Seafood before we move on. And we are back. Happy you're rocking with us. Thank you for sticking with us as well. We got more here on the extra point. Will Lamar Jackson ever get the win in the big game? Now, a tough Ravens loss. Um, I don't know really where to start on this. Do we start with why the Ravens lost, or how the Ravens lost, or who's the reason the Ravens lost? But after all that said and done, we still have Lamar Jackson not making it to an AFC championship game, not to a Super Bowl, having an amazing year in the regular season, having all the weapons he needs everywhere, and not getting it done. Live Zone. Is Lamar ever going to get it done and make it happen with the way he plays and the passer he is and the rusher he is and the team he has now or in the future and win a Super Bowl?
I definitely believe so. I think Lamar Jackson is really the most, well, not the most exciting, but top 5 most exciting quarterbacks in the NFL right now. And I don't think that this had anything to do with Lamar's play or anything like that. Lamar played his heart out. Derrick Henry did his thing. He only had 84 yards, but he still had a touchdown. So he did what he was supposed to do. And then likely was playing really good too with 4 receptions and 73 yards and also a touchdown. This doesn't fall on any three of those guys. This falls on one, Coach Harbaugh, and two, this falls on Mark Andrews. All right. Harbaugh was trying to rest his players all year. We saw it with Derrick Henry. We saw it with Mark Andrews in the first few weeks of the season, and it bit them in the ass. Let's be real here. If they were playing their hearts out every single week and getting the job done, this team was not going to lose many games. And honestly, they probably would have been more ready for the playoffs. But on top of that, this is also Mark Andrews' fault for not catching the damn ball. I mean, I understand that he was going backwards and you know, it wasn't in the right spot that for him to catch it, but it was still in his hands. It was still in his it was still right here. All he had to do was just go like that and they would have tied the game. So for me, I think that long term, this is on Harbaugh because he was trying to rest his players and he was trying to not wear them out, even though with a team like this, you're not going to wear them out because they can all do their thing. You know what I mean? But at the same time, this is also on Mark Andrews for the short term because he didn't end up catching that ball. Like I said, 2-point loss. This isn't really something to be worried about here. There were teams in the playoffs, and there are still teams in the playoffs that have bigger problems in the next coming year. But this Ravens team really does look locked in. They really do look like they want to be in Baltimore and they want to win a championship. It's just, when is it going to get done? When are we going to put in the effort? When are we going to play the players all season long? When are we going to do all these things? And when they fix those mistakes, this team is gonna be just as unstoppable as the Lions were all season.
Yeah, so I think it's kind of a similar situation for the Ravens with the Lions. I think it's a 1, 2, max 3 years left in this squad that they got going on right now, and window for Lamar to win this championship with the way he plays the game. Now, we haven't seen anybody in the caliber of Lamar, and we don't know what his fall off is going to be and how great it's going to be. But when it comes to rushing quarterbacks and their fall off, it always seems to be much greater with age than the passing quarterbacks because obviously it's harder on the body to keep up with rushing and outspeeding players than sitting back in the pocket and slinging the ball down the field for yardage. So that's going without saying. So I think the window for Lamar is smaller. I do think there's still a chance he gets this done. But if it doesn't happen within these next 3 years, I sadly don't think it's going to happen for him. He needs to get it done while he has his legs and he has his arm and he has his weapon behind him in running back and he has a wide receiving core that can get things done. I also agree that Mark Andrews is to blame for this loss. I also agree that Lamar Jackson is to blame for this loss. Lamar Jackson, when it comes to playoff games, before this Mark Andrews drop at the end on the 2-point conversion, before Mark Andrews fumble at midfield, there was Lamar fumbling, being careless with the ball, trying to get a first down. There was Lamar throwing an interception that was clearly well off. Okay, it wasn't like he threw a perfect game and pitched a shutout. Now, if Lamar threw 4 touchdowns, 400 yards, this game was down to a last score, and they needed the 2-point conversion, and Mark Andrews fumbled this ball and missed in the end zone. This is wholeheartedly on him. But no, this also comes down to Derrick Henry getting 84 yards on the day. You need to be more effective in a game where there's snow on the ground and it's running downhill, which is a game that you thrive on, Derrick Henry. Everybody's running downhill when it's on the snow. All you have to do is make a cut to the left on them and a cut to the right. They're down because they can't hold on to their own cleats in the snow, and you're gone for a run off the charts. James Cook was a threat running, which opened it up for Josh Allen to be dangerous at quarterback as he always is. The Ravens were lucky they were even in this game. Shout out to their defense. Buffalo had, I believe, at least 21 in the first half. So Ravens hold them to 6 in the second half. So shout out the Ravens defense for keeping it even close because with the mistakes, they still only lost by 2 points. That's with a fumble, interception, Mark Andrews drops, Mark Andrews fumbles. So the Ravens literally gave this away somehow, and it always seems like that happens with this Ravens squad led by Lamar. Happened against the Chiefs a couple years back or last year. Happens now against the Buffalo Bills, and they're still wondering why they can't make it to an AFC championship. Well, it's the Chiefs and the Bills who don't make those costly mistakes in those costly moments, and they're the ones that are going to be playing in the AFC championship, and rightly so.
Yeah, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, when it comes to the Ravens and it comes to the snow and everything like that, they just ran into the team that they didn't want to see when it came into the snow. I mean, Buffalo always is playing into the snow, so James Cook knows how to utilize that. I mean, even then, 17 carries for 67 yards with James Cook, and then 16 carries with 84 yards for Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry did his thing. Derrick Henry was effective but wasn't effective enough. And I feel like that's also because Derrick Henry went from getting 30 carries a game in Tennessee to now getting only 15 to 16 in Baltimore, which ends up being on Harborough at the end of the day. Because if, like we said, week 12, week 13-ish area, if Derrick Henry isn't getting the ball, this team isn't winning. Derrick Henry should be the best running back in the league. And I really think if you give this guy the same amount of carries as Saquon Barkley, I really do think that Derrick Henry is the better running back out of the two. But because Derrick Henry is not getting those carries, he's not gonna 84 yards for 16 carries. I mean, that's pretty darn good for what he's getting. Now for Mark Andrews and Lamar Jackson, that's a whole different story. Lamar is a running quarterback at first, so you need to also utilize his legs, not just his throwing. So for him to go 18 for 25 on 254 yards for 2 touchdowns is really good for Lamar Jackson. I think the one interception, yeah, that's gonna happen with a running quarterback. He's not Tom Brady. He's not in the pocket 24/7. He's running, he's on the go. It's going to happen every once in a while. The fumble, though, I can understand why we're a little bit upset about the fumble with the best running quarterback in the league getting that fumble. I understand all of that. But at the end of the day, this comes down to Harborough not getting his team ready to go against a team like the Buffalo Bills, and it comes down to Mark Andrews not making that catch for the 2-point conversion.
Agree to disagree and move on because we have the AFC and NFC championship to talk about. So we're going to hop over to the NFC and kick it off with the Commanders and the Eagles showdown in Philly. Oh, it's going to be a good one if it's anything like the one that we saw earlier in the year, the 36-33 game with most of that scoring happened in the fourth quarter alone. A giant reception from Scary Terry, back and forth. Wow. Actually, that might have been Dallas. My bad. 36-33 Philly game anyways back there anyways earlier in the year. So we got the matchup again in the NFC Championship. Live Zone. It's heavy favorites on the Eagles. Commanders, heavy underdogs. Plus 230 last time I checked. Who you got?
Yeah, I'm definitely taking the Washington Commanders in this one. I think that the plus 230, we're starting to see something unravel in the NFL, kind of like how we started seeing the New England Patriots and Tom Brady unravel when he came in and he took over the league. I think we're starting to see that with Jaden Daniels. I think this is Jaden Daniels' year. I think you're going to see Jaden Daniels in the Super Bowl. I would hit that plus 230. I with how Jalen Hurts is playing right now, 188 yards if lucky on a game. I mean, that's not going to get it done. That's not going to get you to the Super Bowl. You better be relying heavily on a guy like Saquon Barkley. And after what I saw the Commanders do to the Lions, I mean, they have a really good defense. And I think that they can get the job done enough for Jaden Daniels to outscore Jalen Hurts. So for that reason, I'm gonna take the whole board for the Commanders. The +6. I would go with the under for 47.5, just because, like I said, 188 yards isn't gonna get it done for the points wise. And then after that, the +230. I'm looking at the Commanders. I think the Commanders are gonna make it to the Super Bowl. And if they do, I think they're going to be heavy favorites in the Super Bowl.
It's an interesting matchup. I like what you say about Jalen Hurts and that I just don't know if he's the quarterback to get it done. But I also look at that Philly system and I'm like, does he really need to get anything done when you have Saquon Barkley in the background, guaranteed almost a touchdown in every single game? He's guaranteed to go off for almost 100 yards in every single game. You're guaranteed to chew clock when he's running down in every single game, average almost 6 yards a game in every single game where I'm watching him run down the field. I mean, they got second and shorts every single time off a running play. And then on top of it, you got the tush push on the team. So 4th and 1s, 3rd and 1s, 3rd and 2s are turned into 3rd and 2, get it to 4th and 1, and then it's a first down. So it doesn't even matter. So really, you're working with uh, 1st down and 8, or 2nd down and 8s, because truthfully, you get within 2 yards and the Eagles are going to get that touchdown. I mean, if we're playing in a weather game, I don't know what we're going to see out of everything that goes down. I mean, both teams are well acclimated to weather, but it seems like the Eagles know how to win those running games. I don't know if Washington versus Philly, with Philly having the strong, very strong defense, Washington having a strong defense as well, that would be an interesting run matchup if it's Jalen Daniels and Robinson against Hurts and Saquon. But unfortunately, on paper, I'm taking Hurts and Saquon in that matchup. Now, if we're talking gunslinging shootout, I'm taking Washington all day. I'm taking Washington all day. I'm taking Scary Terry down the middle, out the seam, outright, slay it inside. Whatever I need him to do, I'm taking Zach Ertz as the tight end over Dallas Goedert. I'm taking Scary Terry over AJ Brown. I'm sorry. I'm taking Saquon over running back. I just blanked on the name for the running back, or Robinson and Austin Eckler. Yeah. Anybody who's catching that out of the backfield. But I mean, it's a toss-up. It depends what kind of game we're seeing. If it's a shootout, give me Washington. If it's a in your mouth, punch you in the face, run down your throat game, I gotta take Philly in that kind of game. I mean, Jalen Hurts not going to sling it out there for over 250 these days, but who knows? He might just be saving that in the chamber and waiting for it. That's what's so interesting about this. You think about it. You have seen Jalen Hurts air it out at some point when he was back in college at Alabama. He did sling it down the field sometimes and be able to make some great throws and put it in places where his players could get it. So I wouldn't even be surprised if it turned out to a shootout and Jalen Hurts put up 250 yards and was in it. But I just think Jalen Daniels has the freaking mojo this year, dude. I don't know what it is about this dude, but it's scary because he's smooth and he's calm, but he's deadly. And it's like he's likable, deadly. Like you like him, and then he goes and he wins, and you're like, it's all right. He's
It's
cool.
all right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's cool. And it's
He's got
like,
the mojo.
yeah, it's wild. So, he's got the aura to it. I am going with you on the pick for the Washington Commanders to upset the Philadelphia Eagles, because I think the Commanders are going to turn it into a gunslinging. And I think it's going to come down to the coin toss at the beginning of the game. If Washington is able to take the coin toss, I think they receive it. And if they make it down the field and score a touchdown, I think they gain momentum of this game and make it a gunslinging game where they have to score. And if the Eagles don't score, Washington could go down and score and really turn this up. Now, if they lose and the Eagles get the ball first and settle in and do a long drive where they do a touchdown and can get a stop afterwards and put the Redskins behind by 2 scores and then work the clock, I think it's bad news for Washington. So it comes down to that coin toss and that first possession and what way they're going to go. And if they get it offensively to set the tone, truly in my eyes as well.
Yeah, and then the other thing that I wanted to put out there for bet for this game is I'm looking at both running backs to score a touchdown. I'm looking at Brian Robinson Jr. and I'm also looking at Saquon Barkley. I think both of them will end up with a touchdown. I think the run game is going to be pretty even on both sides with Austin Eckler and Brian Robinson Jr. and then with Saquon Barkley. I think it's going to be more even than what we think it's going to be. And really, it just comes down to the passing game. I know that the Eagles have the weapons on the passing game, but they just don't have the quarterback for it. Jaden Daniels, he has the arm power. He has the will to win. He has that it factor that Brady had a few years ago. And even when Brady first started out, he's just got it in him. I just can't see the Commanders losing this game after beating the Detroit Lions. I really think this is the winner of the NFC.
Hear me out. I can definitely see the Commanders losing this game, dude. I can definitely see them losing this game. But I do think the Commanders come in and win this game. So agree with you on that. But I could definitely see Philly making this a punch in the mouth game and winning this game ugly. Philly wins if it's a close, low scoring game. Washington wins if it's a high scoring, close game.
I don't know. I don't know. We shall see what happens. We're going to hit you guys right back. We're going to be back after the sponsor from Viva Tequila. So make sure that you go grab a few. They're pretty good. So, yeah, we'll be right back.
Jared, hey, we're gonna need you to tone it down with the Summer Friday thing, okay?
What are you talking about?
Well, for one, it's not summer anymore.
Oh, really?
Coconut. Also, who is this?
I'm the caddy.
Oh, he's my intern.
Sorry, intern. I'm his intern.
Yeah, he's doing a great job.
No golfing in the office, okay? Summer Fridays are over. You can keep the Hawaiian shirt, but the rest of this stuff, all right? Are you grilling?
Oh, yeah. Did you want a burger or a hot dog?
No, grilling in the office.
It's a good point. We should take this outside.
No, that don't. You put that right back down.
Yo, it's all in the hips.
Oh, dude, come on, we gotta go. Let's go.
We have a rematch in the AFC, and it's one that I think everybody's excited for and can't wait to see, and I've been waiting for ever since we got the first one of this. It's been ready to go every single time. I mean, one of the greatest last 2 minutes of any game I've ever seen in my life. Chiefs, Bills, once again. It's in Arrowhead once again. Even with the Bills beating the Chiefs in the regular season, they couldn't lock up home field advantage. Is that a giant storyline of this game? Is that a reason why somebody might be losing this game? Live Zone, who do you have in the Chiefs-Bills game?
Well, the first thing I want to say is I think that the biggest storyline of the game is, can Josh Allen get it done against this Kansas City Chiefs team? We've seen it happen 3 times out of the last 8 years, and they just haven't been able to get it done. This is now going on the 4th time, I believe, correct? 4th or 3rd?
4th time.
Right? Yep. So this is now the 4th time that the Buffalo Bills have gone against the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC Championship. Now, I can understand why a lot of you are thinking the way that you're thinking, and I can understand why a lot of you are going to go the way that you go. I'm not going that way. I'm taking the Buffalo Bills. I think it's Josh Allen's year. I think that this year is going to come down. I think the NFL is in the hands of Josh Allen right now, and if he can't get it done, then I don't think any team can get it done against this Kansas City Chiefs team. So if it's going to be a guy that does it, it's going to be Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. I have the plus 1.5. I think that that's perfect. I think that it's going to be a 3-point win. I don't think it's going to be much. This Kansas City Chiefs team, we saw it in the first half of the last game against the Texans that they were struggling against, by the way, at the first half. And then after that, got shut down in the second half. Because of their defense is the only reason why that they are in this spot right now, to be honest with you. But I'm going and I'm taking the over on the 47.5. I usually don't do this with Chiefs games. Chiefs games are usually really close and they're really low scoring. But because we're talking about the Buffalo Bills here, because we're talking about a team that's averaging 30 points right now, because we're talking about the Kansas City Chiefs going against them, I think that this is going to be a shootout. I think that this is going to be the game of the week and honestly has potential to be the game of the year. And then the other thing that I have is the plus 105. I think that that's perfect. I think that I would hit that 1,000 times if I could. The Buffalo Bills are the team to beat. In my eyes, they are the Super Bowl favorites. And honestly, it comes up to Josh Allen. It's in Josh Allen's hands. It's in his control. If Josh Allen wants to go throw 2 or 3 picks, then it's going to be the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl again. If Josh Allen is playing like the way he's been playing the last 8 weeks, well, the Buffalo Bills are going to finally be in the Super Bowl again.
It's tough, man. I want so badly that the Buffalo Bills make it back to the Super Bowl. And I want so badly that Josh Allen gets to play in the Super Bowl. And I think they could win the Super Bowl. I think they're deserving so. I think they have all the tools. They have a running back, a quarterback, a defense, an offensive line, a good receiving core, people that play their roles all around. Great head coach as well, great coaching staff as well, great system, great fan base. I think it's a great, great, great team, organization in place to win a Super Bowl and should hoist a Super Bowl. I just find it so hard to bet against what is here and been happening and been proven time and time again over and over in front of our eyes, and we just still just want to deny it because we want to be on the side of I was right that one time it was wrong. I'm going with the Kansas City Chiefs until the wheels fall off of this thing, and for no better reason. I believe that Buffalo has the better receiving core. I believe they have the better quarterback this year. I believe they have the better running back, two-way running back. I believe they have a better offensive line as well. I believe they're the better team. I believe the only category that Kansas City outweighs Buffalo in is the coach, and it's not by as big of a margin as you think, but it's still a fact that Kansas City and Andy Reid is the best coach. Now, Patrick Mahomes against Josh Allen 1v1 should go Josh Allen's way. Okay, and you look at the numbers, Josh Allen's 0-3. There's something that has to break in this series, right? And everybody's thinking he's got to be 1-3 at the end of this. Like, it's got to happen. You know, it's like Peyton and Brady going at it. Like, it had to break one time. I think this is the first time we see it not break, and the Chiefs make it back to the Super Bowl again, and we see a young, goated Patrick Mahomes going up against a rookie sensation phenom in Jalen Daniels, and he is the knight in shining armor for everyone around the world in the USA, and Patrick Mahomes is the villain, except for the city of people of Kansas City and Missouri and whoever roots for them down there in that area, just like a classic 2001 to 2020 New England Patriots and Tom Brady team was. everybody in America hated him except for everybody in New England loved him. And it's a classic story once again. I'm so happy that we got to see it right after the dynasties of the Patriots. I'm sad it wasn't the Patriots again because that would have been insane if we had Patrick Mahomes after Tom Brady. Imagine that. That would have been just unfair. But I think that's exactly what we're going to see. And believe me, I want if Josh Allen wins this game, I'll genuinely be happy. I just don't want to bet against this Kansas City Chiefs team anymore. I learned my lesson last year. I rode with them till the end, and they paid off. I'm not going to stop now.
I understand, like I said, I understand 110% on why people are going with the route that you're going. I understand everything behind this. But the thing that I'm going to put out there is this is a much better and much more team-oriented Buffalo Bills. They're one unit. Okay, than the last few years. The last few years, they had problems with Stephon Diggs. When they didn't have problems with Stephon Diggs, they ended up having problems with LeSean McCoy. I don't know if you remember that. I think that was a little bit before Josh Allen, to be honest with you. The Buffalo Bills have always had problems. And that's the reason why the Buffalo Bills couldn't get it done. First, it was no experience. Then it was they should have won. And then after that, it was problems in the locker room. Now the problems in the locker room are gone. There's no fighting between the star players. They're ready. They're here to win, and they want to prove people wrong. The Kansas City Chiefs, on the other hand, have been fed everything. Have been fed everything on a silver platter. It has been right in front of everybody's eyes. Referees have been on their side. And when they weren't on their side, they magically just happened to be the best team in the NFL. They have the best tight end in the NFL. They have the best quarterback in the NFL. And they still got it done, even with one of the best defenders in the league as well. We're seeing a different Kansas City this year. They're not the same team that they were. They're not blowing out teams. It's not like we know that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to be there. It's not like a Philadelphia Eagles team right now with three of the best positions in the NFL, with Jalen Hurts as a top 5 quarterback, with Saquon Barkley as a top 3 receiver, and with A.J. Brown as a top 3 wide receiver or top 5 wide receiver. It's not like that for Kansas City this year. And with the team that's hungry and that wants it more, I think you're going to see the Buffalo Bills in the Super Bowl this year.
Be great to see, and it's going to be a great episode next week or the week after as well. We're going to do Super Bowl talk all week. We thank you for hopping on with us, listening to us, chatting it up. As always, we're here with you every week, dishing up some football stuff. We're going to be diving into basketball soon, though. After football, don't worry, because football is coming to an end soon. But we have big episodes to go before that happens, including the Super Bowl, which I cannot wait for. As always, it's the Extra Point on East Coast Sports Investors channel. We shout out WagerWire. Thank you for sponsoring the show. Atlanta Steaks and Seafood, Viva, Sports Revolt. Thank you to everyone. Live Zone, where can they find you?
Well, before I tell you that, I do also want to say that there are going to be a few more shows popping up here and there when football season is over, because we have to cover not just what we're seeing on the off season of the NFL, but we also have to cover other sports as well. So I know that there will be a WWE show that will be coming soon, WWE UFC type thing. And I don't know what Mazzi has planned, but there will be a few more shows coming to you guys as well, so that's something to stay tuned for. And then after that, you can find me official.livezone or rail_livezone or I think the other one is live_zone_ himself. I'm on all the platforms. If you look up Live Zone Sports, you'll find me. It's a purple lion logo. And yeah,
Hey, thanks for staying with us as always, and thanks for tuning in. As always, we hope to see you again, and stay tuned.